Am I wrong for refusing to get my son a car because of his weight? I have 3 kids, 16 female, 19 male, and 24 male. I've raised them to be fit and healthy, but sadly my 17-year-old son gained a lot of weight after leaving secondary school with bad grades, and he suggested to keep a job. He is not hugely overweight, but it is upsetting to me as I was always careful with their food and taught them to make healthy choices. I bought my 24-year-old a car for his 20th birthday, and I promised to do the same for my 19-year-old, but only if he was able to lose weight and keep a job. He claimed these conditions were unfair because his brother didn't have to do anything for the car, but he kept himself fit and moved out of my house at 18, so he was not a financial drain on me at the time. He accepted the conditions in the end. Did you just call your kid a financial drain? The fact that you called your kid a financial drain says as much as I need to know about yourself as a parent. The reason I added a weight loss requirement for the car is just for extra motivation for him. He's 5'11" and 210 pounds. I know it's not morbidly obese, but it is awful seeing him gain all this weight when he used to be so skinny. He hates his appearance and wants a girlfriend, but he is not confident. Maybe this is not PC these days, but I don't believe in body positivity, and I think if you're overweight, you need to lose weight as soon as possible. I'm worried he will develop a food addiction and get even bigger. The car will make him walk less and make fast food even more accessible, and that is the last thing he needs. Anyway, this was 6 months ago and his birthday is next month. The attempts to lose weight don't last long, and I think he's down 10 pounds at most. However, he has managed to get and keep a job for the last 3 months, which is great, but it's still not very long, and he's still lazy, playing video games and eating too much. I told him last night I wasn't going to get him the car for his birthday, but he could maybe have the car in another 6 months if he managed to put serious effort into fixing his weight problem and being more healthy, and managed to keep the job. He was very upset with me and locked himself in his room. He feels that his brother is the favorite and he is treated unfairly. This is not true. Unfortunately, his brother has had a drug problem and I've had to bail him out of situations and sent him to rehab twice. This is very expensive, but rehab was a life or death thing. A car isn't. He said that I think being a crackhead is fine, but being fat isn't. But that isn't true at all. I care about both of their health, and being fat will cause serious health problems in the future too. Am I the asshole here? I feel bad for upsetting him, but at this moment, I think a car would do more harm than good. He hasn't stuck to the conditions we agreed and improved his unhealthy lifestyle. I don't know why you think that having a car will encourage him to eat out more. Because we have things like DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that stuff where he has a job, he has money, he'll just, if you really want the food, he'll get it. Car or not, that's not what's going to help him. The car could also motivate him to go hiking, to go to the gym. So look at the positives it could have brought, but you only focus on the negatives. Tell me to drop the class if I don't like your rules? Okay then, you'll lose 5 students and your job. So when I was a freshman in college, I registered for a basic-ass English 102 course that doubled as a humanities credit. I thought, great, 2 birds, 1 stone, despite the rate my professor for this class being abysmal at best. A few things to note, I have ADHD and dyslexia, so I've had a hard time reading most times, but especially handwritten stuff. Even my own. It's also important to note that I had an ADA allowance on file, meaning I get some permissions to allow me to take classes and function as normally as possible. These permissions include use of my tablet during class to write notes and about an hour longer on tests. Well, first day of class, the professor strolls in with the arrogance and snobitude of someone who thinks they're getting tenured this year. He starts talking, going over the syllabus and says, there will be no phones, laptops, or technology of any kind in my class. You will write all of your notes by hand, which isn't going to work for me, so I raise my hand and ask him if I can talk to him privately about the rule. That went over about as well as a lead balloon, and he starts getting snippy and says, anything you need to talk with me about can be found in your syllabus. But again, I said that I needed to talk to him and that it was pretty important. Finally, he just says to say it to the class. He doesn't have time to take out to deal with whining of any kind. So I say that I'm dyslexic and need my tablet to do the notes and read the assignments, and that my ADA permissions are on file and emailed to all my professors before class. He says, yeah, I saw the email, but I don't care. You can do the work just like everyone else. You're not special even if you were in special ed. The class goes deadly quiet at that. I'm absolutely shocked at his bold and completely hilarious lack of awareness and care for his job. I'm staring at him open-mouthed and he thinks he won. He's got this smug little face like I've just been told and there's no other options, nor is there any way he'll regret his behavior. One of the girls in class finds her voice and calls out his ableism and lack of decorum, but he cuts her off saying, if you don't like my rules, you can drop the class. So she says, okay, and pulled out her laptop and dropped the class right in front of him. And taking the cue from her, 3 other students and I do the same and we leave class together at the same time. I've never met this girl before, but then she asked me if I want to go to the dean because honestly I'm really shaken, so I said yes, and we go straight there telling the dean of students what happened as well as the ADA counselor. They took the girl's statement and mine and discovered that this professor had pulled this shit for years, but nobody wanted to get involved. 6 months later, I hear that not only had the professor not gotten tenured, but he was fired and blacklisted from teaching at the college level. For people who don't know what tenure is, that's when a teacher gets like locked in and they're guaranteed their job safety.
Found this on my husband's desk. He's either so romantic or having an affair. And it's a note, handwritten note. And it says, being with you and around you is a gift. You light up my life and others. You make life so much easier. You inspire. You conquer and master. Highlighted comments that people pulled from Best of Redditor updates. Plot twist, he wrote that about himself as a positive affirmation to lift his own spirits. Next person, who's gonna tell her? Between the pen at the very top indicating the testing of the pen, the hole punched, spiral bound, not letter paper, and the bullet point format, this really looks like a rough draft of some kind. Whether it's for a card, him writing stuff down so we can better formulate strongly worded compliments for you, or even self-affirmation. I think there's almost no way this could be anything other than very sweet and wholesome. Update, I found a love note on my husband's desk, and it was either romantic or bad news bears. Okay, first of all, this got way more attention than I expected. It made my day so much fun, so thanks for all your comments. Lots of people wanted update, so I thought I would share. This afternoon, the note was in the trash. I asked my husband why there was a love letter in the trash. He was so confused. So I really love St. Patrick's Day, and I was really depressed around that time this year. He wanted to do something special for me, so he bought me 6 gifts to make me feel better, like a ball of yarn, a pepperoni stick, slippers, craft supplies, and I forgot the rest. I think brie. But each gift came with a mini card that had one thing he loves about me. That note was his brainstorm of things he loves about me.
Oh. I love that. I thought this was going to be the one that like flips around since she was tempted, like, you know, dangling that in front of you. That was great.
He said he wrote a totally different list for his mistress.
What? Oh, you're fucking with me.
I love it.
No, that's on here.
What? You're fucking with me.
No, it's a joke.
Oh, okay.
OP goes, he said he wrote a totally different list for his mistress. So there's that.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
he must have been kidding.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to have that. No, but if
Lauren straight panics.
Well, I
you
was
need to
in
have
the zone.
I know,
Yeah.
but you need to be able to have that kind of response in a relationship. I mean, that's just perfect.
No,
if you have that sense of humor, I mean,
Cheeky. Yeah.
100%. And I love sarcasm. I just did not pick up on that one.
I mean,
Morgan has a good poker face.
yeah. Yeah, but if you saw a note like that, the last thing my mind would go to is it's for someone else.
I don't know. I had a nightmare last night that you were cheating and having other people in your bed.
Oh, let's get into that.
You know those nightmares that you have about your partner and you're just like, you wake up just mad. Yeah.
Having other people, in my
100%.
bed that we were sleeping in.
Yeah, I was like, it was a dream where you literally had like another girl in your bed. I was like, what the fuck?
And you just like happen to pop by.
I don't even know. I was raging.
Dude, I will have a dream like that. I've had that before where the person that I'm with, they're with somebody else and I see that. I catch them and I'm like, what are you doing? And they look at me
my
with like a
God.
stone cold face and they're like, what? And like not being able to get through to them, like how painful it is so hard. And I'll like hit them and they're like a brick wall. I'm like, why don't you understand? Why don't you get it? Like, and it just is like,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah, it's happened a couple of times and it's
Oh
just
my
the worst
God.
thing because they're just like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, what do you mean?
Am I wrong for expecting my girlfriend to pay for her stay at my family's cabin? 100%. My grandparents own a big old cabin where every generation after them have enjoyed annual family vacations. Due to the cabin's age, there is constant maintenance that needs to be done. Every time we replaced, fixed, or repaired something, there was another thing that needs fixing. We also started slowly renovating the cabin as the interior had become quite dated as well. These costs have become too much for my grandparents to handle alone, especially since their age means they can't do much of the work themselves and they need to hire professionals instead. This has caused them to implement a fee system. The rule is as follows. Every person from the age of 20 years old needs to pay an annual fee to be allowed to stay at the cabin. The size of the fee varies as it is calculated according to how many people plan on using the cabin and how big the upkeep costs for the previous year. I've happily paid the fee ever since the rule was implemented, and so have my parents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Every summer, my extended family tries to find a weekend during the summer where most of our vacations overlap so that we can all meet at the cabin and catch up. I decided to invite my girlfriend along as I want to introduce her to this tradition as she is someone I'm imagining spending many future summers at this cabin with. She was ecstatic about the idea of meeting my extended family and going to the cabin, as she's very curious about it after hearing me talk about it a lot. Naturally, I sat her down and told her about the rule and how she needed to pay, as everyone else paid, and it would only be fair for her to do so as well since she would be using the cabin when coming with me this year. This year's fee is around $200 to $400 depending on how many people use the cabin, due to a big roof leak and some pretty substantial water damage. The idea of paying this fee really upset her, and we had a big argument where she concluded with saying she would make other plans without me this summer. The rule is very simple and made completely fair on everyone. I don't understand why she thinks she should be exempt from it. My brother told me I should just pay her fee for her as my extended family would really like to meet her. But I really don't think that's fair to me to pay double the fee when she's completely capable of paying it herself.